What if I told you there's a single script that can exponentially increase the development of your games? A script so simple, but yet so essential. Without it, you'll find yourself spending 50% or even 100% more time developing your games without this script. Developers don't talk about it enough, but today, I'm letting you in on my secret. Okay, so you might ask, how could a data saving module increase the development process of your game? There's a few things that we could look at, but let's start it off with these reasons. First of all, a well-designed data saving module can be reused across multiple projects. Establishing a data structure in place at the beginning allows you to build off of a solid foundation. As you write your code, you'll be constantly thinking about how you will be able to save your data, instead of thinking about that at the end. Second, a data saving module will allow you to access your data easily and utilize them across scripts. Alright, now that I'm in the studio, let me show you guys how you would usually save data. So I've written a player value script, and you can see that I've basically just made a folder called player values and created a number value coins, which is going to represent the player's coins. So if I join the game here, you'll be able to see that in my player, I have a folder with coins inside of it. To demonstrate to you guys how usual data saving works, I've written this script here that basically gets a data store, and whenever the player leaves, you have this data table, which is going to set the value of your coins to the key of the string coins. And so we will use the setAsync method to save this data basically to the player's user ID. And so what that means is whenever the player rejoins, we're able to use getAsync to get that table with all of your values again by plugging in the key for your data, which is the user ID. And so once that happens, you're able to get the coins value by doing data.coins and setting that to the coins.value, the number value. And if I play, I can show you guys by changing the number here. I've already done it, as you can see, but just for another demonstration, here I set it to 10, and if I leave and rejoin, you will see that the value is going to be 10, because that was the player's coin value at that time. And so you can see that we have 10 coins here and that the data saving works. But what if the data was more complex? By more complex, I mean not just simple data, numbers, strings, but whole entire inventories. And the thing is, you can't save instances in the data store. You have to get each different item and all of their different properties, and then you have to reconstruct all of them whenever you rejoin the game. And this is where regular data saving fails. Bam, it says you can't store the value. You can't store dictionary in data store. Data store can only accept valid UTF-8 characters. And so that means with instances and other things, you're not able to set that data. You're not able to save that data. So for example, what if I had a gun, right? You can see here that I have a gun asset, which is basically just a part. Just to show you guys, right? What if I wanted to save that gun? And what if that gun had, like, I don't know, the color on this and the material on a certain thing, and basically all sorts of like different changes, right, that are complex and not necessarily UTF-8. How do you save that data? Now, if you really wanted to, you could just write a function that will get all of your items and then get all of the properties and then reconstruct it whenever you retrieve those properties. But then that means every time you make something like a new inventory, if you have an inventory for guns and you have an inventory for pets, it means you need different functions that will recreate those items, right? And that sounds like a huge hassle. Behold the data module. What we want to look at here is the template and then our set profile function. Basically what happens is you have this module script, right, which is basically just a table. And whenever you set the profile and you pass in the player, it's going to set a copy of this data template this is like a blueprint for your data. It's going to set the key for that data to the player's user ID. And it's going to be a part of this module. So this means that your data is accessible from anywhere. It's literally accessible from anywhere. And you can change it from any script as well, simply by taking the player's user ID. What this means for us is we don't have to create a data representation of all of our items whenever we save our player's data. Instead, what we want to happen is we want to create a data representation of our items the moment we actually get the item. It goes straight into our data. And this data will go and be saved automatically with just one line. Not only does this simplify things by a lot, but this forces you to think about how items are going to be represented as data. Let's say I wanted to create a beverage system. I'd first have to think about what forms of data each drink will be comprised of. So first, they could have a name, which can be a string, then a flavor, maybe they have a different size, and maybe they each give different buffs or debuffs even. All of these things you have to think about before you actually create a drink. And then you have to think about how the drinks will be stored. So you have to make a drink inventory. And then you have to think about how you will retrieve those things. And then it's just kind of setting like the standard, it's setting the structure for your game. On a higher level, we can take a look at my project as an example. And you can see how my data template has a weapons inventory and a pets inventory, as you can see here. And if we look at the pets, you can see how they each have a pet index, tier, XP boost, damage boost, etc. And in the player values, right here, this is where basically the pets are reconstructed. This is all it takes, by the way. The pet index isn't actually a property of the pet, but it's more like a number that's going to be used to determine what pet it actually is. And that's going to be determined here. As you can see, this is going to be a table that stores each pet index. And this one is going to be a bear, and it has all that data, right? So we're able to store just a number, and from that number, we can get all of this data, or all of this data, right? So you can see how the pet index of 3 is going to be a bear, and I have 3 bears in my inventory currently. And yeah, you can see that all 3 bears are here, each with their own different stats. And you can see that in this way, this is all it takes to save everything. All of this is going to be saved as it is, and all of this data has a way of being reconstructed. To be honest, you should really just use another data store for like your currency and anything that can go into your player values. So yeah, this is only for complex forms of data like pets, weapons, items, abilities, anything like that. And then this is for those who want a better look at how everything works. And yeah, that's it. But don't expect to instantly increase your development speed, because honestly, it's probably going to be slower at the start because you're going to be getting used to restructuring your data and all of that. But once you get more used to it, it'll definitely be easier to create complex systems, and it'll even help out in learning things like object-oriented programming. In my opinion, it helped for me. Well, that's all. Remember to like and subscribe the video, and I'll be leaving my Discord server link in the description below for anyone who needs help on programming, or if they try to make one of my systems but there was like a bug or something, I don't know. I'll be able to help you guys out with whatever. Make sure to check out my other videos as well. I have a few videos where I showcase some other systems like a quest system and even a leveling system and other things like that. That's all guys, peace out.